What's up with it? You watching the Baby Mama TV? And yeah, we about to check out this video from the YouTube channel Culture Spill. And the title is Biggie Mother Last Wish About Diddy Before Death Leaks. She had evidence. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Miss Wallace, man. For real, though, man. One thing I could say, man, I know she was hurt about her son, man. For real, though. Down there to the day she died, man. For real. Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie. I think she kind of like had an idea Puff wasn't right, you know what I mean? I done seen her like in pictures with Puff. She just don't quite look comfortable around Puff, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, I think she probably feels some way about Faith too, man. And it's crazy for Faith to start messing with Stevie J, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how long it's been. You don't mess with nobody friend, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, maybe Big Mom left some messages or something behind. And it ain't no telling if she knew going at Diddy was dangerous or something, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even no telling if she didn't encounter things, made her not speak out like she probably wanted to. Man, like I was saying, man, rest in peace, Miss Wallace, man, for real, though. But yeah, man, I haven't checked out the video. Don't completely know what they talking about, but let's check it out and see what they talking about.
It's been a couple of days since Biggie's mom, Valetta Wallace, passed, and things are beginning to slip through the cracks, y'all. Allegedly, she had undisputable receipts about what happened to her son, and there are reports that these will be hitting our screens soon. But even before that, we all know who she thought was responsible, right? Right?
I think I always feel some sort of, responsibility because I'm in this thing with him, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's my artist, and he was supposed to go to London that night. And, I let him talk me into, not going to London and staying in LA. And that, that's something that really bothered me, throughout my life, is sometimes you have to really go with that decision in your gut. And in my gut, I was like, you need to get on the plane. But sometimes when you don't listen to your gut, and this is God's world, it's his plan. Yeah. But honestly, that's one of the things I regret, not making sure that he went to London.
Okay,
I ain't gonna lie, man. That sound like BS, man. I think that's a lie, man, for real, though. Because, man, I heard Big was, like, in this hotel the whole time down there, like, nervous and shit. Yeah, man, him putting a twist on the story like that, man, that is kind of questionable. I ultimately think it's Diddy fault for having Big out there in L.A., man, for real, though. He wasn't even supposed to be in L.A., man. And definitely not around the time as the so-called West Coast, East Coast beef. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, you definitely got to blame Diddy for the Biggie situation, for real.
You all know that one thing about Biggie's mom is that she tried her best to get justice for her son before she died. And she did everything in her power to keep his legacy alive. Like in a 2021 interview with EW, she said that she was never a fan of rap or hip hop, but she listened to the music her son and his friends enjoyed to keep his legacy alive. She also admitted that after Biggie died, she found a connection to him through his music.
I cried so much that day. Just listen to the music. I remember I sat, I stood, I rested my head on the stereo, and I just cried like a baby. And that was therapy for me. And I said, oh my God, that was a talented young man to put those words together. And he had a beautiful voice. I love his voice and the way he came off, I appreciated him as an artist and as my son.
Valetta also spoke about Biggie in several other interviews over the years, and she was among those who spoke in honor of what would have been Biggie's 50th birthday when the Empire State Building was honoring Biggie with a special King of New York distinction on the building's lighting mast. Well, other than keeping the legacy alive, Valetta was also very vocal about the injustice with regards to her son's death. And word on the street is that she had one last wish before she died. And allegedly, that wish was for Diddy to pay for what he did to her son, because the receipts on his involvement have been immense. Honey, one thing Valetta always said when she was alive was that she was convinced the LAPD conspired to keep the details of what happened to her son hidden. And she actually talked very boldly about that belief. For instance, there was a time when she did an exclusive with Daily Mail and talked about how every single day was just painful for her and the rest of the family. She said, "It hurts me every single day to know what happened to Christopher and that I won't see him ever again. It's not just me that is devastated. His sister Tiana hurts every day day because of his loss. As a family, we've collectively grieved, and it doesn't ever get any better for us. Any mother who has lost a child knows exactly the devastation I feel. It's the worst pain in the world, and one that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. He was so young, so talented, and his life was taken far too soon. It's unnecessary that Christopher lost his life at just 24. He was my baby, and I think about him every day. When it comes to the anniversary of the passing of his death, I don't really like to talk about it. I know there will be a few tributes in honor of Christopher, and that's great. He's still remembered, but it's very tough for me and my family. Now, according
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy, man. She really loved her son like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Man, I think she was feeling the pain damn near, though, all the way till she passed, though, for real, though. Years later, when she was just talking about listening to his music and stuff, too, so you can tell that pain was deep, deep, for real.
According to what Valletta said, the LAPD detectives who investigated the case know who is responsible for her son's death, but a conspiracy prevents the case from ever being solved. She said she knew the LAPD did their investigation and found out what happened, but they just refused to move forward, and she didn't know why they had not arrested who was involved. According to Valletta, she said it seemed to her that it was one giant conspiracy and someone was definitely being protected. Like she said, I have a very good idea who unalived Christopher, and I genuinely believe that the LAPD know exactly who did too. They've done their investigation, but they just refuse to move forward. I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. It seems to me that it's one giant conspiracy and someone is definitely being protected somewhere down the line. There's no closure for me until that person is behind bars and sentenced. That may give me some closure to grab onto, but it sure won't ever bring back my son. Basically, what Valletta was saying was that the authorities knew what happened and the person responsible, and she knew everything too. But obviously, there was big money being poured in to prevent the person from facing the consequences. There's also a time when Valletta talked about agreeing to be a part of the project City of Lies, which centers around the corruption involved in suppressing the investigation, and she actually opened up more about the corruption involved and said, I have a strong hope that I don't care it takes 40 years for the truth just for somebody to be accountable for what they did. Those in high positions try to put the case on the shelf and not let the truth come out. They do not want to expose these police officers for the crooks that they are. You know, all they wanted was to save their retirement. They didn't want to ruffle their feathers. They didn't want people from the East Coast to come over. They did everything they could under the real investigation to put it on the shelf. She even said that she agreed to participate in City of Lies not only to honor Biggie's music, but for Russell Poole, who died in the middle of the investigation. And about Russell, she also said, I hope and pray that the truth would expose them individually. Russell died exposing them. He was a man of his word. His wife said he died of a broken heart because he didn't see justice. All he saw was corruption and pure lies. Everything was hidden. In a different interview, Valletta also told Entertainment Weekly, as long as I have life, there's hope. And I hope when I'm not in this world anymore, my friends and family will carry on the fight. There is always hope. Well, your guess is as good as mine as to who Valletta was referring to when she said she knew who was being protected down the line. Yes, the one and only Diddler. I mean, if there's one person who has really profited from Biggie's death, it's Diddy. And according to sources, he didn't even mourn the death. Like, even after Biggie died, Diddy was only focused on making profits, like somebody who knew exactly what he had done. This is actually something that came up during that Rolling Stone piece about Diddy, and it highlighted how Diddy reportedly pressured Bad Boy employees to focus on marketing and album sales for Biggie's release, Life After Death, because he was so obsessed with the album being #1 and staying on the top 10. Most people who did the interview actually said that it did not look like Diddy was grieving. He was solely focused on pushing the numbers, and it was really hard for the employees because, unlike Diddy, they just wanted to mourn their friend and colleague. The former employees also said that after Biggie died, Diddy still tried to steal his shine. And there's an incident that was narrated by Kirk Burroughs claiming that Rolling Stone approached Bad Boy with the opportunity for Biggie's legacy. But instead, Diddy wanted the spot. Kirk said he was telling Diddy, let's make it Biggie. You still have a chance for a cover in the future. But Diddy responded, no, he's dead. I'm putting out Combs' debut album, No Way Out, in July. I need to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. So that's how Diddy ended up on the 1997 cover of the publication titled Puff Daddy, the New King of Hip Hop. The Rolling Stone article also highlighted that 2 years after the cover dropped, Diddy did an interview with them where he admitted Biggie's death brought him so much money when he said, I think his passing added to the fame. At least 2 million of the nearly 5 million copies of No Way Out sold were due to his death, straight up. And that doesn't necessarily feel good, but that's the reality. In addition, Kirk Burroughs also shared that Diddy had a certain jealousy for Biggie's friendship with Tupac before they started feuding. Apparently, Diddy wanted a friendship with Pac, but Pac wasn't interested because he didn't have any kind of respect for Diddy. The assumption is that that Diddy was the one who initiated the beef because Kirk also said that Diddy is the one who pushed Biggie to write beefy songs. He even released Biggie's single Who Shot Ya in 1995 because he knew that it would be viewed as a jab at Tupac. Again, this is something that Biggie's mother allegedly also knew. Like, she always knew that Tupac and Biggie loved each other and the feud was forced on them. Then there's someone like Gene Deal who also said that he had a feeling Biggie's death probably had a lot to do with Diddy wanting control of his catalogs, and he even said that Diddy planned to leave Bad Boy Records behind when he got a deal from another label worth around $62 million.
Big was showing me a contract because I was saying to Big, Big was like, yo, Gene, I like you. I would take you with me, bruh, but you love that too much. I said, love that too much? What do you mean I love it too much? He said, yeah, you love him too much, bruh. I would take you with me. I said, how you gonna take me with you and you broke? He said, I'm broke. I said, yeah, you broke, man. You owe Mike Gadget $30,000 for the system and them drop boxes he put in your truck. And he was like, yo, how you know that? I said, talk and run their mouth, Big.
Man.
Yo, he said, oh. He said, but I'm about to get this money. So he showed me, I said, you about to get that money? He said, yeah, look at this. It had Charlie Baltimore, Cameron, Little C's, Little Kim, Junior Mafia, Tracy, I don't know, Tracy Murray,
Tracy Lee.
Tracy Lee, and the Commission. And I think the contract was for so many years for like 62 million, it comes out to like $62 million. I was like, that's what I said. I'm like, damn.
Speaking of Gene,
man, that's crazy. But yeah, man, I definitely think Puff was feeling that beef though for sure, because Tupac and Big definitely was like damn their best friends, you know what I mean? But then even after they fell out, I did hear Tupac saying that was his little brother and he just giving him a spanking, you know what I'm saying? So I think Pac was mad at Big for a minute, but I think they could have got over it. Extra people pushing them to beef, you know what I'm saying? Then just like in music in general, you know, beef is beneficial. It still is. Shit. If niggas come out with some disses right now, them shits got the potential to go crazy, you know what I mean? But then again, it got the potential to get somebody taken out too, though. But yeah, man, I definitely think people was pushing for Pac and Big to beef though, man, for real though.
didn't he also say that Biggie's death was an inside job and that the car he was in had a mark that was not there before? You know, Gene also spoke to Biggie's mother before she died, and she made an eye-popping allegation. Apparently, while Voletta Wallace was sick in hospice, Diddy allegedly started to sell Biggie's publishing and rights. He also spoke with her over the phone sometime last year, and she expressed her support for him in exposing Diddy. Baby, that should tell us all we need to know. Anywho, other than the people who talked about how Diddy exploited Biggie, Voletta also talked about how Biggie was exploited by Diddy in her 2005 book, Biggie, Voletta Wallace Remembers Her Son Christopher. She wrote, "The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. He had never seen that much at one time in his life. It was enough money to make my son believe that Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It was enough to buy a blind love and loyalty." Honestly, Voletta did her best until her last breath to try and get justice for her son. And we can only hope that the rest of the family members will continue to fight.
So my whole thing about it is that it was somebody in our crew that wanted them to know that Big was in that vehicle. And to separate it, that's where you get there was more than one people trying to kill us. You understand?
Man.
That's where you get that at, brother. That there was more than one, different people was trying to kill us. Because somebody wanted to know, yo, if y'all gonna get big, here go the car with the stickers on it.
Especially given the recent reports that Voletta had receipts. Well, as we wait for everything to blow up, because it will, do you think the evidence is going to expose Diddy as the culprit? What kind of evidence do you think she had? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. For real, though, man. Rest in peace, Miss Wallace, man. But yeah, man, it definitely seemed like she was hurt about Big to her last day, man. For real. Yeah, man, them stickers on them tires, man, that is suspicious, man. For real, though, man. And on the West Coast, man, Big was supposed to be laying low. You know what I'm saying? Gene Deal even warning them, we need to get up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? He said they ain't have enough guns, they ain't have enough security, so... yeah, man, I don't know, man. They definitely down there plotted big assassination, man, for real. Crazy situation, man. And then like the person that they say did like take Big out, he already dead. So shit, it ain't no telling if it was just part of the cover up to say he did it, and you know, it might be some more people involved or something. But shit, who knows? So basically, the dinner was solved damn near, but I think it's just more to it though, you know what I mean? I don't know why they ain't announced the situation. But yeah, years later, they found the car and everything, so I don't know, man. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to the Babe Bomber TV. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Until next time, all right?